Being knowledgeable about the reasons why we feel, then act out the feelings we have, gives us power. Power over our actions. Power that we didn't have before. Hi, I'm research psychologist Roger Follensbeck. Can structured psychology help me get through life? Well, it certainly can. When we understand structured psychology, anyone is able to understand why they think, feel, and behave the way they do. And that's important. Actually, when it's about mental health, having a series of true and accurate explanations for one's condition is absolutely vital. For example, when we're in one of those long-term self-deprecating moods, oftentimes we feel that way because we don't understand how we're put together or structured. And until we do, we'll have a very hard time indeed in fixing any mental state we might find ourselves in. In a word, knowledge and the true understanding of the world around us is an effective and totally necessary tool to have if one wants to reach a positive, effective life. For example, knowing the reasons why we sometimes feel confused, insecure, anguished, or remorseful, we're able to confront those emotions head on and, in many cases, eliminate them entirely. Being knowledgeable about the reasons why we feel, then act out the feelings we have, gives us power. Power over our actions. Power that we didn't have before. Any and all mental distress, at least in part, is reliant on one not knowing where or why their distress is there to begin with. However, if you can replace ignorance with knowledge, you'll eliminate that stress or the anxiety, fear, and apprehension you feel, and you can do that in relationship to other people and other things. In other words, other people and other things can be frightening, but perhaps this is only because you simply don't know why you feel frightened and apprehensive to begin with. What structured psychology offers is a key to that level of psychological understanding we should all have. And as a result, that tool we all need to reduce or completely eradicate our fear of the future. Our future and the anxiety and stress that future might bring. Let me give you an example. Let's take Bob in Portland, Oregon. Bob's been suffering from frequent episodes of self-doubt, loss of control, emptiness, anxiety, and remorse. He had been seeing a therapist who did all he could to help Bob, but was never able to give Bob a coherent explanation as to why he felt the way he did. Everything the therapist had to say made sense, but never totally convinced Bob what the real source of the disturbing emotions he was feeling really was. As a result, Bob continued to feel on edge, sensing each day more and more that he held no control whatsoever over his future. What Bob was getting from his therapist were all kinds of very clear descriptions of what he was going through, descriptions disguised as explanations. And even though Bob understood everything that was being told him, he didn't get any better. Why? Just remember that descriptions never heal anything. Only true explanations can. Descriptions can give us the impression that we're back in control of our lives, but we know that we're not. Only true, untethered explanations can do that. And again, where can you find those untethered explanations? In structured psychology. That's where your whole life is. Thank you for watching.
Understand why we all think, feel, and do the things we do. Read It's Not Your Fault by Roger Follensbeck. Link in the comments below.